Chapter 737, A Cataclysmic Prophecy. It starts in the living room. We were watching TV and playing card games. Trudy, it was so awesome today. I got to pulverize terrorists trying to destroy the city. Me, way to go Trudy. Stacy, I'm proud of you sis. Maria, I'm glad you're fully healed. William, thanks Maria. Sora's cure potions and cure spells really worked. Sora, oh it was nothing. I turned and I noticed that Static Shock was down about something. Me, Virgil are you alright? You look sad about something. Static, sighs, I'm sad because today is the anniversary of when Richie was shot. We gasped when we heard that. Lori, what happened? Dear, let me show you. Gear lifted up his pants leg on his right leg and we saw a bullet wound scar. We gasped in horror at what we saw. Me, whistles, that is a nasty one. Looks like a .25 caliber pistol wound. Lainey, no kidding. Lisa, that is exactly what it is second elder brother. Nico, how and who did this to you Richie? Dear, it was because of a kid named Nick Connor. He was bullying a friend of ours named Jimmy Osgood. We growled in fury. Me, that makes me sick. Virgil, how did this happen? Static was still down about it. Me, you don't have to tell us right away. You can tell us when you're ready. Static, no. You all have a right to know. Okay, here goes. Static told us that Jimmy Osgood was a bright kid that was being tormented and tortured by a bullying kid named Nick Connor. When Jimmy was shoved into a locker, that's what sent him over the edge. When Virgil and his dad were at Jimmy's house to help his father with car trouble, Virgil went up to Jimmy's room and he found a threatening message on his computer saying that Jimmy was going to kill Nick and his friends and end their bullying ways for good with a gun his father has. It was a .25 caliber semi-automatic handgun. Virgil went and told Jimmy's dad and his dad and showed them what he wrote. Virgil's dad Robert Hawkins is a social worker that works with kids and he advised Jimmy's dad to get Jimmy some help. But unfortunately it was too late. Virgil told them that Jimmy knew where to get a gun and Jimmy's dad kept it under lock and key in his bedroom. Jimmy took it without his father knowing. Virgil told his dad and Jimmy's dad that the kids were at the community center and Mr. Hawkins told Jimmy's dad to call the police. Virgil turned into Static Shock and went there to try and stop it. But by the time he arrived, it was already too late. Jimmy had accidentally shot Richie and was in the corner in a fetal position crying his eyes out and everyone was standing there in shock. Richie was rushed to the hospital and he was lucky that he was gonna be alright. But Nick Connor however was punished for his actions. He got 2 years of suspension and was sentenced to 1,900 hours of community service. Same with his friends. 1 year of suspension out of school and the rest of it was in-school suspension. In a way, Nick got a slap on the wrist. We were absolutely horrified. Me, that is just disgusting. Nico, I can't believe that Nick would do something like that to him. Vince, Nick has no right to call himself a trusting kid. Me, I agree with you partner. Virgil, are Jimmy and Nick one of the metabreed or were they exposed to any part of the biohazardous mutagen? Static, no thank goodness. Me, well that's a relief. Did Jimmy get any community service at all? Static, he got 200 hours but he now goes to the school psychologist. Me, well at least he's getting help there. But regardless what Nick and his cronies did doesn't excuse them of what they have done. Nathan, I agree JD. I know exactly what Jimmy is going through. Before I became a member of Team Loud Phoenix Storm, I was being bullied a lot. I'm sure Lynn told you about that. Me, she sure did Nathan. It's good she stopped them. Bunch of bias-motivated shit faces. Nathan, yeah. You got that right. Mindy, I hate bullying with a vengeance. I should know because I was bullied bad. Nico, I know sis. That sickens me. Me, it all does. Let's head over to Dakota City guys. Francis, let me come with you guys when we visit Jimmy. It's time for the present bully to meet the past bully. Me, good idea Francis. Besides, now that you're cured, everyone will accept you again. Let's roll. We did so. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We arrived in Dakota City. Maria, boy, I missed Dakota City. Me, it sure is different than what it was the last time we were here. We saw that Dakota City is now a much better and peaceful place. Carmen, I missed this place though. Liam, southern accent, it sure is rough being away from home, my fiery dumplin'. Carmen, oh Liam. Cosmo, I would love to see Dakota City crime-ridden. Me, Cosmo, you're an idiot. Wanda, in all honesty, I don't know what you were thinking marrying a brainless idiot like Cosmo. Wanda, oh, I've gotten used to it. Me, easy for you to say. Also, I don't know what the Fairy World High Council was thinking letting Cosmo be a fairy godparent. He's a completely brainless moron. Cosmo was doing something really stupid. He was picking his nose with his feet and eating his boogers. Completely idiotic. Me, and look at his brain scan. I showed her a picture of Cosmo's brain and it showed that his skull was completely empty. No brain at all. We arrived at Dakota City High School. We saw Jimmy working in the school as a janitor. Jimmy, oh, hey JD. Knudsen of Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Me, it's a pleasure to meet you Jimmy. Static, hey Jimmy. It's been a while. Jimmy, oh, it sure has Virgil. How have things been with you? Static, doing great man. Dear, glad to see you're doing well. Jimmy, oh, thanks man. I'm so sorry I shot you back then. Dear, it's all right man. I've forgiven you for that back then. Jimmy, oh, thanks man. But Nick just won't learn. He's still bothering me. Alexis, don't worry, Jimmy. We'll make sure Nick gets his just desserts. Jesse, Pokemon and FYI, laser guns are the rage these days. Me, yep. Jimmy, oh, thanks guys. Nick Connor then arrived. Me, Nick Connor. Nick C, JD. Knudsen. What brings you all here? Me, what else? We're here to kick your butt. Nick C, you think I'll let you? Pow. I punched him in the face and Francis walked up to him. Nick Connor tries to get up. Men, guys. This isn't funny. Dear, lots of things aren't funny. Getting me shot wasn't funny. Static, bullying Jimmy for God knows how long wasn't funny. Francis grabbed him by the shirt. Francis, and becoming a very worse bully than I ever was definitely wasn't funny. Nick Connor, okay. You guys are right. I'm sorry about all of that. Maria, no, you're not. Grins sadistically, not yet, anyway. Me, okay, I'm noticing a completely similar situation here. Isn't this like what happened when you got shot, Richie? Dear, it is. Nick Connor, to Francis, look, Stone. Things have changed. I'm the top dog of this school now. You can't just walk in and pretend to own the place. Francis, you're right. I don't own the place. But then again, neither do you. Nick Connor, you have failed this city. Me, and he has failed everything a human being represents. We pulverized Nick into pulp and got him sent to prison. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later at home I was monitoring Denzel Crocker's insanity. He was almost at 10,000% fucked up. He was at 9,902%. And rising slowly. Me, he's almost there. When he hits 10,000% fucked up, we remove his brain and destroy his body and lock his brain into the Saturn Insane Asylum. Wanda, but isn't taking out Mr. Crocker's brain going to kill him? Me, nope. His brain is going to be in a special nourishment jar that'll keep him alive. Stellar, I hope you don't kill him, JD. Because we need his spazzes to keep the magic in fairy world going. Me? Say what now? Stellar showed me through some visual aids. Stellar, for centuries we fairies have harnessed the energy that comes from the spazzing of certain humans who believe that fairies exist. A picture of fairy world was on a slideshow and it showed energy flowing into a massive magic wand that serves as the power source for all of the fairies in all of fairy world. All the energy comes from the people that believe that all fairies exist. Stellar, when Mr. Crocker first began to spaz about fairies many years ago, his energy was so powerful that we used it to fuel the big giant wand all by itself. Mr. Crocker releases a massive spaz that powers up the fairy world wand alone. Me. So Mr. Crackass has spazzing that fuels all of fairy world and keeps the magic going? Stardust. Pretty ironic, isn't it? Me. A major case of irony. I've hated Mr. Crocker for as long as I can remember. Ever since I threw him into the nut house 4 years ago, he has constantly hated my guts while gradually continuing to lose his sanity. But I never knew that he was a power source for all of fairy world and all its magic. What happens if Mr. Crackfuck stops believing in fairies? Wanda, well, this happened before you threw him into the nut house, JD. Mr. Crocker was cured by a psychologist and he stopped believing in fairies. It caused fairy world to lose all its power and it was so bad that it began to fall right out of the sky. We had to get Mr. Crocker back into spazzing or else all of fairy world would have plunged right into giant bucket of acid world. Me. Giant bucket of acid world? That's crazy. Stellar. It sure was. Jurgen realized that having fairy world over such a place was a stupid idea. Now we won't just be relying on Mr. Crocker's spazzing. We're going to rely on all of the nut jobs in the world. Me. Well, that's a relief. Okay, so sending Crocker's brain to the Saturn Insane Asylum will be a bad idea. So instead we'll calibrate it by hooking it up to it to continuously fuel the big wand indefinitely. Wanda, that'll work perfectly, JD. Stellar, that's genius. Stardust, it just might work. Me, sure, Mr. Crocker might be a fucked up weirdo, but we need his spazzing to keep the magic going. Wanda, what was Crocker's insanity levels at back when you stopped him the first time, JD? Me. Back 4 years ago when I defeated Crocker the first time, he was at 3,217%. Now here we are in 2019, 4 years later, and he's now at 9,907%. Trixie, I'm glad Crocker is not our teacher anymore. I never liked him. Sapphire, I never liked him either. Emerald, same here. Me. I don't think anyone in your age group liked him, Trixie. But I have a strong feeling that Mr. Crocker is hatching a diabolical plot to get revenge on me even as we speak. And when he sets it into motion, we'll be ready for him. My eyes glowed red with righteous fury, and when the time came, Crocker is gonna wish he was never born. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later everyone was watching TV and playing card games yet again. Me. Hey Ash, you told us about that time where you saved the world from total destruction in the Orange Islands, right? Ash, I sure did. Me, that was an incredible adventure for you. How did you save the world? Ash, it was an amazing adventure. It centered around the island of Shamudi and the islands of fire, ice, and lightning. They were home to the legendary birds Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. Tracy, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos are the connectors of the balance of nature. A crazy Pokemon collector named Lawrence III disrupted that balance by collecting them. Me. So this Lawrence III was the source of what caused the planet to nearly be destroyed. Let me see here. I look up the adventure Ash went through on the computer and it showed a rather interesting kind of prophecy. Me. Look at this. Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning, lest these titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clash. Though the water's great guardian shall arise to quell the fighting, alone its song will fail. Thus the earth shall turn to ash. O chosen one, into thine hands bring together all three. Their treasures combined tame the beast of the sea. From the trio of islands, ancient spheres shall you take. For between life and death, all the difference you'll make. Climb to the shrine to right what is wrong, and the world shall be healed by the Guardian's song. Wow. That is a very enigmatic prophecy, Lainey, but I think I know what it means. The titans of fire, ice, and lightning are Molters, Articuno and Zapdos, the 3 legendary birds. The guardian of water has to be the legendary Pokemon Lugia. Ash, that's right. Lugia is the legendary beast of the sea and the guardian of water. Misty, and it will sing its song to try and stop the fighting. But it won't be enough to do so. Ash is the chosen one to bring the fighting to an end. He had to get 3 magical spheres from each island. Their combined power will save the world and tame Lugia. Me? Wow. That's a massively cataclysmic prophecy. Let me see here. I looked up what would have happened if the planet wasn't saved, and what I saw was horrifying. If the balance of nature was continuing to spiral out of control, it would have ultimately destabilized the planetary structure and the whole planet would explode. A holographic image showed the whole planet exploding. Me? The whole planet would explode? Ash, that's bad. Misty, I never knew that the planet would explode. Tracy, me neither. Me, we got to see what this was like and bring this Lawrence 3 to justice. Let's head to the simulator. Articuno, when I get my wing on Lawrence, he's headed to an icy grave. Me, no Articuno, he's not worth it. According to this, he doesn't have any powers or any of that supervillain stuff. But he is a villain nonetheless, and jail is perfect for him. Articuno, whatever works. We went to the simulator. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the simulator, we got ready for the journey that will decide the ultimate fate of the world. The simulator activated and we found ourselves on Shamudi Island. We were in the middle of the Orange Islands. We saw the islands of fire, ice, and lightning in the middle of a frozen cold sea, and the skies were clouded up with storm clouds and... Me? Whoa. So this is what happened. The balance of nature has been severely disrupted. Jessie, Wabafe, don't you go wandering off now. May, look up there. May pointed to something and we saw a flying fortress flying above Ice Island. Ash, that's Lawrence's flying fortress. Me, that must be where he's holding Molters, Zapdos, and your past selves. Let's go. We flew up to the flying fortress. Along the way, Nico caught a Wynot and a Glolly. We landed on the fortress and went in. The flying fortress was a beautiful and magnificently constructed piece of machinery. Me, wow. Lawrence's flying fortress is amazing. Ash, yeah. He loved the fancy stuff. Me, I got to give him credit though. He put a lot of work into this. Lainey, it looks very similar to the works of the famous Italian Renaissance master Leonardo da Vinci. Me, it sure does remind me of that. We saw amazing artworks on the ceiling. It reminded me of some of the famous works of famous artists from all over history. Lainey, wow. The artwork he has on the ceiling is amazing. Me, it sure is. It's some of the most famous works of history. We continued on and we got to the main room and we saw Molters and Zapdos trapped in electrified collection rings. Me, here they are. We saw Ash, Misty, Tracy, Melody and Team Rocket in the fortress as well. Me, everyone is here. We explained everything in the past. Kids were horrified. Past Ash, what? He's going to cause the whole planet to explode? Me, I'm afraid so. If we don't stop this prophecy, the whole world is doomed. Past Jessie, to her present-day self, you're siding with the twerps now? Ew. Jessie, it really isn't that bad. Me, we can worry about that later. So you all are here. We turned and saw Lawrence 3. He is first seen in his large airship reading a prophecy. He thinks that the prophecy was about him and that he is the chosen one. He then sets to work on capturing the 3 legendary birds so that he could draw out Lugia, which he also plans to capture. Using various weapons from his ship, he injures Molters and captures it with electrical rings rather than a poke ball. This disturbed the harmony of the legendary birds, threatening to destroy the world with a raging current called the Beast of the Sea, although Lawrence III seemed oblivious to this, focusing primarily on his plan to capture Lugia. Making it feel like a game of chess, he then captured Zapdos when it moved to Fire Island, thinking that Molters left. He also captured Ash and his friends when they were in a boat and brought them aboard his ship to see his crowning achievements. However, he did not foresee that the group, especially Ash, would not take kindly to his method of capture of the two legendary Pokémon. As he attempted to capture Articuno for his collection, Ash, using the combined power of his Pikachu, Charizard, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur freed Molters from its device. Molters then freed Zapdos from its electric cage, but then the two started fighting, destroying part of the ship, and allowing Articuno to join them in the battle. Lawrence III's ship crashed on Lightning Island. As the prophecy said, Lugia did rise from the sea to stop the fighting of Articuno, Zapdos, and Molters, and Lawrence III, still intent on capturing it, decides to capture it just like he did with Molters and Zapdos. Though Lugia managed to break free and destroy the remains of his ship with Aeroblast, Lawrence III survived the destruction. Finding his ancient Mew card, Lawrence III vows to start his collection again, but this time on a smaller number. It is also explained in the novelization of the movie that he would not capture Lugia again. Lawrence III has no superpowers, but he is greedy and is not a very pleasant man. Me, Lawrence III. So we meet at last. Nico, Lawrence III, you have failed this world. Lawrence III, so what brings you all here? Me, we came to tell you that what you're doing is putting the entire planet in grave danger. If you keep doing this, the entire planet is going to explode. Lawrence was shocked. Me, that's right. You're putting the whole planet into jeopardy. Let me show you. I showed a holographic image of the planet and the catastrophic repercussions that are taking place. He was shocked and had no idea that he was placing the whole planet in terrible danger. Lawrence III, I had no idea. I'll go with you quietly. Wheeljack had his blaster pointed at Lawrence. Wheeljack, to Lawrence, you say anything to push your luck and we'll change our minds and shoot you in the head. Nico, Wheeljack, stand down. That's not needed. I placed cuffs on Lawrence III. Me, you made the right decision, Lawrence. Right now we need to get everything in the world back to normal. Let's go. We then sprang into action and Molters and Zapdos out of the electrified rings and outside, and then I beamed the flying fortress to our dimension. We flew outside and we saw a massive full-scale war going on. Molters, Zapdos, and Articuno were really going at each other, firing fire blasts, lightning blasts, and ice beam attacks at each other, destroying everything in their wake. It was a vicious and relentless clash. The Guardian of the Sea then suddenly appeared out of a massive tornado of water, and we saw that the Guardian was Lugia. Me, it's Lugia. Nico, oh wow. Very, we have to help Ash get the other two treasures. Me, let's do it. We flew out and Lugia was helping us. We set out for Lightning Island and the three birds were hot on our tails. Molters fired a blast of fire, Zapdos fired a blast of lightning, and Articuno fired an ice beam blast at us. We fired energy blasts and powerful lasers and more at the three birds. Me, this is crazy. Lainey formed a massive tree in the middle of the ocean and it grabbed the three birds. Lainey, that will hold them for a while. Me, let's go. We continued on to Lightning Island and we arrived in the middle of the mountain on the island. We saw a shrine in the middle of the island in the shape of Zapdos. We gave Lugia the ability to talk with his mouth instead of talking telepathically. Lugia, the treasure is in that shrine there. Ash, I see it. Ash went down into the mountain and he saw a yellow sphere and he pulled it out. It glowed yellow with the essence of lightning. Me, the sphere of lightning. Lugia, yes. Ash is indeed the chosen one. Me, we have one more treasure to get. We left for Ice Island. Just as we arrived, the legendary birds broke out of the tree and went at us. Me, here they come. Alexis, let's get them. Alexis fired a powerful blast of ice fire and Molters fired a powerful blast of fire and the blasts collided and exploded in a massive fiery explosion. Crab boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Articuno fired an ice beam and Nico's Articuno fired a powerful ice beam and May fired a powerful blast of ice from her hands. The blasts collided and exploded with incredible power. Crab boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Zapdos fired a massive blast of lightning and Nico's Zapdos fired a powerful blast of lightning. Nico, Dragon Thunderclap. The 5-star Dragon Ball lit up on his bracelet and he fired a blast of lightning from his finger. The blasts collided and they exploded into a massive fiery explosion. We went through the mountain of Ice Island and we arrived at the top of the mountain. We saw the shrine for Ice Mountain. Me, there it is. Ash pulled out the sphere and it glowed with the essence of ice. Me, we got it. We got off the island and went back to Shamudi. Me, let's hold the birds back until we fulfill the prophecy. Nico, you got it. Alexis, let's get them. Earth Cyber Key Power. The Earth Cyber Planet Key went into her device and it enabled her to form weapons out of her ice fire. Wheeljack turned into his Transformers Armada version. Wheeljack, let's get them Alexis. Cyber Key Power. The Autobot Cyber Planet Key went into his back foil and in car mode it enabled him to grow jet wings and fire lasers and missiles from his wings and it also enabled him to fire energy blasts from his chest in robot mode. Alexis and Wheeljack. Ice Fire Scythe Storm Barrage. Alexis formed a scythe made of pure ice fire and Wheeljack fired numerous missiles and lasers. Alexis was on one of the missiles and she slashed Articuno and the missiles hit Articuno and Zapdos and knocked them out. Jessie, time for some action. Ready Wobbuffet? Wobbuffet, Wobbuffet. Jessie, Animatron Cyber Key Power. The animatron went into her device and it enhanced her Wobbuffet's abilities. Shockwave, time for some action. Cyber Key Power. The Earth Cyber Planet Key went into his back and it enhanced his ammo and abilities 100-fold. Shockwave turned into his blaster form and I had him in my hands. Jessie's Wobbuffet and Shockwave, reflecting electromagnetic burst. I fired Shockwave and Jessie's Wobbuffet reflected it with his mirror code and it enhanced the blast and it hit Molters. Nico, final smash time. Nico's Articuno, you got it Nico. Sub-Zero Blizzard Feather Storm. Nico's Articuno fired a massive barrage of feathers that turned into a shower of icicles and they hit Molters and stunned him. Lugia, my turn. Aeroblast. Lugia fired a massive laser blast that contained enough power to destroy a whole city and it hit Molters and knocked it out while destroying the whole ice sheet. Lugia, to the viewers, this is the first time I've done that. But then the whole storm got worse. Massive and powerful tornadoes appeared out of the storm all over the place and lightning was striking all over the place. This could only mean that the planet was getting ready to explode. We hightailed it back to Shamudi Island and Ash placed the treasures of fire, ice, and lightning in an altar and they glowed and then green healing water poured out of the altar and turned the whole shrine into a beautiful altar. Melody then played Lugia's song and it caused Molters, Articuno, and Zapdos to calm down and become tranquil. It was a beautiful and magnificent song and it sent the healing water out all across the area and we saw the storm clouds clear and the world was getting back to normal. We flew out with the legendary birds and Ash and Lugia joined them. We then saw an incredible and unusual sight emerge from the water. We saw a massive river made entirely of pure water emerge from the ocean. It was as big as the entire planet and it was the source of all the climate in the world. We then saw the river go back down into the ocean later on and Molters, Articuno, and Zapdos went back to their home islands. The world was saved from total destruction, saving the lives of everyone on the planet, both human and Pokemon. Later the simulation ended and everyone cheered for us. We helped prevented a massive and devastatingly cataclysmic disaster from happening. Lawrence 3 was sentenced to 50 years in the Jupiter prison. The reason for this is because he had no idea what he was doing would have caused the end of the world. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. The second Pokemon movie was the most awesome movie made by the people of Pokemon. It was one of my #1 favorite movies. I saw the movie trailer for it from the first Pokemon movie and it played the Requiem Rave song and it was awesome. Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos are some of my #1 favorite Pokemon. It's awesome. Nico-chan11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man as usual. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.